I got a question in terms, because you said you came from like a Christian background and you were part of a Christian group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, what sparked you to come from that? Because like, how did you reconcile coming from a Christian, you know, Jesus is God, you know, to the black man is God? I'm saying, like, how did you reconcile that? And, you know, going from like a black man, you know, or a Christian mystery God creating the universe, being God of the universe, unseen and heard everywhere, to the black man being, you know, seen and heard everywhere, you know, being God and seen and heard everywhere. How did you reconcile that?
You know, it's funny because, you know, my family is just a little bit different, man, because I was brought up in the church, but my mother has always had an open mind. She's always had an open mind. My uncles have always had open minds. And that part of the church that's, now don't get me wrong, part of that church is still in me.
In terms of?
In terms of community building, in terms of how to treat the mothers and the widows, in terms of just the way, the structure of the church, the way the church is made. We could put on a spiritual album right now and everybody in here would feel something, because that's all a part of us. You know what I'm saying? So me making the transition, it came through the music that I was listening to at the time. I was in a Christian group.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But with the Christian group, with us being edgy, we were one of the most edgiest Christian groups that were in the industry on the Christian side at that time. So we listened to people like Brand Nubian. We listened to Run DMC. We listened to Public Enemy. Who sparked me was Chuck D. Chuck D sparked me.
Right.
It's funny. I'm
These are
tell you.
like more like nationalism, right?
Yeah.
Like on that
Yeah, because I was like, you know, and I remember that. It was back in the 80s when the spark happened. And the little things started, you know, coming in. Chuck D, this is gonna be funny, and NWA.
They sparked you too.
They sparked me, God, because you have to realize they were coming from a whole different spectrum of how police brutality, and I've seen it every day, especially living in the South. We see that every day. Don't nobody know pain like we know it down here. I don't care what you say.
So they sparked you in terms of like standing up for yourself, or in terms of like
being open and understanding and open-minded and being able to relate to myself. Because if something don't relate to you, you're not gonna pick it up. Whatever they putting down, you're not gonna pick it up. So I picked up what was being put down to me in the form of song, in the form of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta take the best part. I've been saying that ever since we've been building it.
Right.
You gotta take the best part, dog. So I took the best part of those things. I always knew how to do that. So that being coupled with the fact that I knew the Bible, I would go to Bible studies. My uncle would have Bible study every week at his house, in his living room, just like we sitting here now. We would read the Bible, other guests would come over, people would come over, we would sit down and study the scriptures. I remember one particular Bible study, a brother by the name, I can't remember the brother's name, light-skinned brother, I see his face. And he said, well, that means we're GODs too. And my uncle was like, no, that's not what that meant. And he was coming from Psalms 82.
Okay. Right.
And I can't remember the brother's name, it slipped in my mind. And my uncle was like, no, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. And that stuck with me. So now, no,
he couldn't really answer that.
He couldn't answer that question when it clearly stated that ye are gods. The way that he explained it was, no, ye are gods. You belong to God. Ye are gods and children of the Most High God. So now you got two gods?
Ye are gods as in you are gods, as in God possesses you.
Exactly. You are God's property.
Right.
So that's the way it was explained to God's property. Shout out to Kurt Franklin. So that's the way it was explained, but that pricked my mental, God, because I knew that wasn't what that scripture was saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with me, it was always having an open mind. And me being on the road with my brother, in the group. Now, remind you, we do concerts in front of 25,000, sometimes 50,000 people overseas, and we played big arenas. We played the Pro Bowl twice. You know what I'm saying? In some of the itineraries that they had over in Hawaii, we played the Pro Bowl. We've been to Europe twice. We've been overseas, London.
Right.
The group is called PID, Preachers for the Skies. I mean, you can Google it, like I said.
Okay.
But during that time that I was traveling, I came back here because I wanted to see Public Enemy, and they were at a club called RJ's by the Lake at Bachman Lake here in Dallas. And I was married at the time. And I saw a brother in the crowd. And mind you, I had heard the minister say about the original people. All these things are in my mind. I studied the Bible and all of this. And this brother I saw, he had a tap. Now I had been reading about the 5%ers online with the Yahoo. Now, mind you, we didn't have that much.
This is early. This is
late 80s, early 90s. This is into my waking up.
On the internet.
This is on Yahoo, because you come across certain groups if you were searching at that time. Remember, we had the dial-up, the AOL, and all of that. But anyway, some kind of way I came across that, and I saw this brother at the concert. And he had a crown on, but it had a tassel, and it had Allah across the front. And I said, those are the 5%ers, because I see pictures, Lakim Shabazz, you see the videos. It says 5%ers. So I walked in, I said, man, you one of them 5%ers, huh? You know, brother said to me, he said, yeah, you God too, you just don't know it. And he walked off. When he walked off, I grabbed him. I said, no, hold up, man. I said, I need to know more about what you're talking about. He said, all right, take my number down. It was beeper. We had a beeper.
Beeper he is.
So brother called me one night. He told me about, meet him at this certain place. But he said he couldn't do it that night because one of his brothers got into a really bad car accident and he almost lost his life. Later met that brother he was talking about that was in that car accident. It was a brother by the name of Infinite Kijan Allah. At the time I met him, he was 13 years old.
Wow.
He was 13. I met him and Trueborn Shati. Okay? The same day. And when I saw them, they were sitting in the corner reading from this notebooks. They had these giant notebooks in there. And they were captivated by whatever they were reading. But the cipher was like, this is the only time they sit down and read, because when they're in class, they get kicked out of class all the time for having battles with the teacher about, the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars. So I'm thinking, what's captivating these youngsters like this? Now I'm in my 20s now, and I'm looking at them, damn, So during that night, the brother that gave me the knowledge, we stayed up all night, and I wrestled with him. And he told me, he said, before we leave tonight, you're going to know that the black man is God. I said,
he's younger than, this is a teenager.
This is a teenager telling me this.
Telling you, as you basically, you're a grown man.
I'm a grown man, right? And I told him, I said, hey, I ain't got nothing but time. We'll be here all night. So I kind of linking that as like Jacob wrestling with the angel. Because, every time I came with something, he came with something else. And I couldn't prove it. I left his apartment at 6 o'clock that morning, and I said, the black man is God.
Wow.
Never look back.
If Mecca did this.
Peace. In celebration of each other, we support each other's hustle. Weight Life has sponsored this content. You can get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, or a hoodie at the Common Unity store of a law school in Mecca. Or just simply hit me up. I got the hookup. Peace.